A couple of days ago, I did a video, actually two videos, where I talked about MrInternatMan's latest story, Walk on the Wild Side. Now, in case you guys don't know who MrInternatMan is, I've done a few recommendation videos on some of his webcomics. In fact, the last recommendation I did before these previous two was based on a collab story series that a fellow DeviantArt user was writing called Demonica, which was titled after MrInternatMan's iconic mascot character that kind of put him on the map. Now, long story short, in this story, MrInternatMan's character meets up with Minor's original character, Ruby Walker, who's an FBI agent. And at first, Ruby's kind of unsure about Demonica, but over time, not only does Demonica win her trust, but they become very intimate with each other, to the point that basically Demonica starts realizing and starts acknowledging and unlocking powers and abilities that she was suspicious, if not suspective, that she might have, but wasn't sure of until they got unlocked. Like I said, she wasn't sure of, but she was suspective and suspicious that she might have, and they didn't come into being until she became very close and intimate with Ruby Walker. And that's where MrInternatMan's newest webcomic, Walk on the Wild Side, comes into play. Because one of the things that Minor-Alterations put into the story was the fact that, well, basically, ever since Ruby and Demonica have become very close and intimate, that not only has it unlocked these abilities and powers that Demonica didn't know she had or was suspicious and suspectable she might have, but through a collaboration between the two, that being MrInternatMan and Minor-Alterations, we visually see, if not read, what one of these new abilities are about. And one of them is she's able to cover up Ruby like a costume from head to toe, a bodysuit, if you will. But when she covers her up, she essentially is absorbing her and converting her human body into additional mass, which can prolong her stay in her form and give her additional abilities and powers. But at the same time, not only does Ruby learn a lot more about who Demonica is, learn about her human alter ego, the college student Veronica, but she's also able to kind of master the abilities herself. Mostly, she's able to master the ability to reshape her face on the body of Demonica while she's in a Catwoman disguise. So she's able to communicate with her, kind of face to face. She's even able to extend her face, her neck portion from one part of the body to come face to face with Demonica. But, again, that's just one ability. Well, Walk on the Wild Side comes into play is Demonica is able to share more of what she's unlocked, to the point that she doesn't have to go into somebody, or somebody has to go into her, or she has to touch somebody, or vice versa. Basically, she's able to instantly, just right then and there, share her ability with the person right next to her, without really doing anything. And that's where Walk on the Wild Side comes into play, because, long story short, Walk on the Wild Side has Demonica turning both her and Ruby into a purple and red slime girl, blanks, going all the way, blank faces and all that. And the reason for this is because Ruby has become very fascinated and intrigued, if not obsessed, with the gooey liquidness, melting, sliminess abilities that Demonica offers, or has. So, long story short, again, not only does she share this ability and turn both of them into slime girls, but you could pretty much guess from a very mature, intimate level where it goes from there. And in case you don't, basically, long story short, as Demonica puts it in the webcomic, they let gravity do its purpose and they start melting down, they start twirling around each other, they sploosh down into a combined red and purple, like, ocean, lake, if you will. They twirl around again, then they become this big old ball of red and purple, and then all of a sudden this is explosion, I guess you could say a climax, if you will, and the end result ends up being a fusion. But the fusion is basically a black colored slime girl who has no idea what has happened, but does acknowledge the fact that they haven't rested that well in a long time. But can't remember exactly how they, came to be in that state, because part of the story sees basically the result of Demonica and Ruby's, experience, basically merging them together and splatting them all across Ruby's apartment, to where basically the bits and pieces have to converge back together. And again, as they converge and shape up into basically this female figure with a female slime blank face, blank slate, as I put it, figure. Again, they can't. This fused merged figure acknowledges they haven't rested that well in a while, but basically can't recall how that came to be. Feels like, and one thing that does acknowledge that, well, they're kind of in a state to where, they can't remember, or the combined form can't remember. The combined form basically states that it feels like it was living two lives, but that can't be right. So, long story short, this new fused, blank slated, blissed out, drunked out form of Ruby and Demonica's just decides, I'm just gonna enjoy this while I can. She's gonna let time take its course, and that's how basically a lot of the memories and stuff will come back into play. Until then, she's just going to enjoy this new ability she has, these new powers she has possession of, to have fun and pleasure. And that's how the story ends, by basically this combined form pooling onto a bed and basically turning it into a little bathtub or something like that, as they spread out on top of it. So yeah, I know that sounded kind of weird, but that's basically what the story is. And yeah, there are some people that even when you read it, you might agree that, or yeah, you read it and look at it, you may agree kind of ended anticlimactically. But I guess that's all Mr. Internet Man wanted to do. And I think when you look at some of these stories, most of them are basically like one-shot, non-canon kind of deals. But I wouldn't put it past Minor-Alterations to maybe acknowledge something like this in an upcoming story down the line. So, really though, that's all I could say on it, guys. Let me know what you all think down below. I got to get into work now, but I thought I'd just take this time and give you guys a bit of a recommendation, review, recap on this story, and I'll try to provide a link down below later. But let me know what you all think, and I'll talk to you then.